Welcome to Just the Who of Us, hosted by Reah Hagues. This is a space for honest, thoughtful conversations around mental health, life journeys, holistic wellnesses, and the experiences that shape who we are. Take a breath, settle in, and join Reah and today's guests as we explore the stories that connect us.
So today we have Olivia back with us and a little guest co-host. So welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
Of course, of course. So last time we kind of left off, we spent a little time getting to know you, and we kind of left off right at the meat of the story, so to say. So today we're going to talk a little bit more, kind of dive more into what kind of paved the way for you as a professional, the life experience that you had that made you say, this is what I want to focus on. This is the group of people that I want to help. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Well, we're going to talk about that a lot. So, when we left off last time, we were talking about high school, and high school was a time for you where you went through your self-discovery in the sense that, generally we go to school and our peers are dating, most of females dating males and vice versa. And so we kind of, and I have a daughter who went through this also, kind of, this is how I'm feeling, this is who I feel attracted to, but everyone else is doing this, and I don't want to stand out. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. So I'm just going to kind of follow in that quote unquote normal narrative, fit in with everybody else so that no one looks at me differently.
Yeah, definitely like the self-preservation, self-protection type of a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that.
I was younger and like moving from Pennsylvania, where like all I did was go outside. I was like playing outside. I was in the pool. I was playing in dirt. And then I moved to Georgia, where like nobody's really doing that at my age anymore. And it was this very stark difference, even like going into high school, where I'm like, oh, this is like a different thing than what I thought. I can even remember something as small as like my parents let me have the old family computer in my room, and it's like one of those like 90s dial-up big ass computers. And I remember thinking, this is so cool. My sister had the newer old family computer in her room, and I had this other one. And I was like, oh my God, I have a computer. How cool is that? And so I made my first friend, and I'm like, we can go up and play on my computer. Do you want to see it? I have one in my room. And I remember being like, oh, sure. I mean, I also have one, but like, you seem excited.
Right.
And I show her, and she's like, oh, that's so cool. And I don't remember what we ended up doing that day, but I do remember a few days later, I go to her house, and she has like a MacBook computer. I remember thinking, oh, like that was like the first moment where I'm like, oh, this is like a different ballpark of a place.
Right. Yeah.
And then, these friends of mine that I was making started dating boys and having their first kisses and all of this. And I remember having a boyfriend in 7th grade who was in choir with me. And we would like maybe hold hands in the hallway. But like, I remember just being like, please, no, like, don't kiss me. Like, we call it each other boyfriend, girlfriend, but like, that's what everybody does,
right.
and like not feeling a really big connection to it either. So in comparison to a lot of people in high school, I was kind of like this late bloomer where I had like my first real boyfriend when I started high school, and we were on and off for a very long time. I think my mom and him are still in contact, type of a dynamic.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was probably like the first time where like that was my first kiss. I would like the first time I made out was with this person. My first actual date was with this person. And it was just, it always felt like a performance almost, which was easy for me. I was a theater kid. I can perform, that's no problem. Right. And it helped that I just genuinely liked these people. Right. So like it made it all easier because I do really like you. I do really care about you. I just kind of almost made this assumption that I just wasn't maybe like mature enough yet to feel that type of attraction that like my friends were expressing to me. And of course, like as a 30-year-old person, I can find all those correct words. But like back then, I'm like, something just is weird, but like I'm also just kind of weird. So like, who cares? You know?
Yeah.
And I remember being in high school and there was this one girl who was, I think, one of the only people that I knew that was out as a lesbian at the time. And she happened to be friends with some of my friends. She was a few years older than us. And I just remember like really watching her a lot at lunch and just being like really like interested. And I couldn't quite put my finger on why I was so interested. I could not tell you her name. I could not tell you where she is now. I could not tell you anything. I just remember being like, something stands out to me about this.
Yeah.
You know? And like looking back, I can go, yeah, just like looking back, my 7th grade best friend, that was gay. Like that was a very gay friendship. And I just was like, all friends take showers with their friends. We were in bathing suits. We were never naked, but like all friends do this.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
All friends are this close. Yeah.
Yeah. All friends get really upset when their best friend becomes friends with another girl and spends more time with them. All people are like this. This is normal.
Yeah.
Now, and growing up in this and kind of hitting that part of life in the Bible Belt too, you don't have many people to talk to about either. You know? So it's just kind of like went under the radar. I just kind of kept sweeping it under everything. And I, had the boyfriends, I went to prom, I did all the right things, and just always felt like something was lacking, but never really understanding why or what that is.
Right.
And then of course, you're 15, 16, you're learning how to drive, you're figuring out if you're going to go to college. I was an AP and honor student. Like I went to college early. Like I was just then so focused on everything else. And then we moved right when I was 16, New Year's Day, my middle of my junior year of high school. We left Georgia and moved to Ohio. And at that point, it was like, I don't even have any friends. I have nobody to talk to. I'm lonely. I was still on break for a really long time. I hated being there. So at that point, like even thinking about identity was like, I need to think about getting the fuck out of Ohio.
Right.
You know? And I did 18 months. I only needed to do time served, 18 months, got to leave. I got my free education. I did a year of free college. I left. And that's when we ended up in North Carolina. And again, then you're in school and then you're studying and you want to make friends. And I moved again and I wanted to graduate early and be on top of schoolwork. And like, I was very, very serious. I've always been very serious about my schooling. So it's like, why would I waste my time on any of that when I can just focus on school,
Yeah. Well, and too, when you don't have certain influences around you, you don't know what to go off of. So when I was in my late teens, early 20s, so maybe like 19, 20, I was working at IHOP. And this was showing my age. This is when IHOP still had smoking. So like half the building you could smoke in and half you couldn't, which was so stupid because like
because you could still smell it. But like
lose.
In your defense, you're in North Carolina. The smoking laws were a bit delayed, I think.
Yes. But I'm so glad it's not like that. I'm so glad that's not an option now. Like I can go in somewhere and breathe and not have smoke in my food. It's great.
Yeah.
But, back then everybody smoked. So like we didn't care. But now we're a little older and wiser and most of us take better care of our body. And so now we don't want that.
Exactly.
I want to walk past it, more or less having my food.
Yeah.
So, but, just to kind of show how long ago this was. So I worked with, and I talk about this in my autobiography, and I went into great detail because I felt like it was really important for people to understand, like the complex emotions and the experience and the drastic thought process. So there was 2 people that worked there, a male and a female, and they were both gay. I didn't know that. So me, I've never like I didn't grow up around anyone gay,
Mm-hmm.
only gay,
Mm-hmm.
or anything. I didn't have like, all I had were the influences around me. And so I remember one time there were two women sitting in a booth. Well, they were teenagers. Two girls sitting in a booth, and they were like playing footsie, and like I don't even remember what now, but to me then they were just being overly affectionate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I go to one of my coworkers and I was like, "Hey, can you take this table? I don't feel comfortable." And they were like, "Why? Because they're gay?" And I was like, yeah, like that makes me uncomfortable. Now, if you know me now, you would be like it doesn't sound like my personality now, right?
Yeah.
Complete
Yeah.
opposite. But at the time, I didn't have any influences except for the ones I had.
Exactly.
And I ended up actually having my first female experience with one of those coworkers. But like they were the first people that were like challenged me, like, well, that's really judgmental of you to think that way. Why does that
Mm-hmm.
make you uncomfortable? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, because there are two women. Yeah. I've never been around that. And like my family says it's not right. And again, being in the Bible Belt, this was what the early 2000s. So
Yeah.
everything wasn't so open.
Mm-hmm.
Like people didn't talk about things. All they talked about
Yeah.
was how it was wrong or whatever. Especially if you grow up in a religious family, everyone
Mm-hmm.
uses religion.
Mm-hmm.
They do. People use religion to
Mm-hmm.
hide bigotry. And so
Yeah.
so it's just one of those things. It's like, but once I became introduced to people, I
Mm-hmm.
started treating people with respect because I realized that they were people just like me.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
No,
like,
exactly. Yeah. And you don't know what you don't know.
right, exactly. Yeah.
Right. So,
But
like,
once having to do better, like if you stay in that place of, once you can't stay in that place of ignorance and say, oh, I didn't know. I didn't know any better. Once
yeah.
you know, now you have to do better.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's not to say that I wasn't around gay people. One of my cousins is gay, is openly gay, has been for most of my life. One of my dad's best friends who was in their wedding was a gay man. So like it wasn't like unheard of. And like I may have grown up Catholic and going in and out of Catholic church and everything, but like I was very fortunate to grow up in like a very liberal, open-minded household where like you can do and be what you want to be. Maybe originally not so much with the tattoos and the stretched ears, but like, in general, you can be whoever you want to be, explore yourself, figure it out. And I've been very fortunate with that. But I think seeing that in like adults, because my cousin is much older than me and she's like a distant cousin, my parents' friends, like, I don't know this man, right? I think he may have passed before I was even born. So like in theory, I knew it was okay. I knew that no one would have a problem, at least in my family, that I believe nobody would have a problem. It just, I never saw that process for anybody else. None of my friends were curious about their identities. Nobody else asked these questions, So it was like, how am I supposed to know what I don't fully know? Because how the hell am I supposed to know how somebody figures out that they're gay? No one told me.
Right.
I know that people exist. I know gay people exist. I know queer folk exist, but how was I to know what that process looked like? And so then you just find yourself burying everything deeper and deeper down.
Yeah.
And it honestly wasn't until I was getting ready to finish up college where I finally said to a friend of mine, I worked in the social psychology research lab, and she is asexual. And she's one of like the first very close people that I had in my life who was a part of the community. And I had started dating this guy who was one of my best friend's roommate. And I was talking to her and I was like, I really like him. He's so kind. He's wonderful. I really do have a lot of love for him, but I have no sexual interest in him whatsoever. So like, how did you know that you were asexual? Because like, maybe I am. And she was like, pause. How are you jumping into asexual right now? Like, is it possible that maybe you also like women? And I'm like, for some reason, I never thought that could be an option for me. And I remember saying that. I didn't realize that could be an option.
Right.
And she looked at me and went, well, that's very interesting. And I was like, I'm going to mull this over.
Right.
I continued to date him until I moved to the Netherlands. And I was like, well, I'm going to the Netherlands. I'm going for school, whether you like it or not. And I do not want to come with a boyfriend. And so we amicably split up. I moved here and I was like, okay, now I feel like I could have some of that freedom and some of that wiggle room to make sense. So I started like exploring labels a bit more at that point. So I told one of my friends, oh yeah, I think I'm bisexual or pansexual because I don't think I really give a shit about gender. And pan just feels like more broad and more accepting. And everybody was just like, okay, cool. And so many of the people in my cohort, my group for my master's program were like, oh yeah, we also like women. And I was like, oh, what?
There's people like me.
Oh my God. And there's so many of us in one small room. And yet still that first year, almost that entire first year, I was still seeing men, dating men. I had a man that I was kind of my boyfriend, but also not. And at one point I was like, why? And I used like a very like a misunderstanding with a language barrier between me and this other person as a reason that wasn't going to work. And it was so dramatic. I'm like 21, 22 years old, being so dramatic and being like, hey, you said this, it's very dismissive. I don't even remember what he said, but I just remember being like, it was so dismissive.
You're like, this is the perfect out.
Yeah, you're so dismissive. Like, you just don't understand me. We cannot be together. But in reality, I was spending all day, every day texting this girl.
Yeah.
I was like, what the? A year later, I ended up meeting up with him, apologized. We had a great time. It was totally fine because I'm like, I was shitty. I'm so sorry. I was so shitty. And
but that's self-aware though, like
yeah.
to be able to say, hey, I was wrong. I treated you negatively in this situation. I apologize. It's not something people do very often.
Yeah.
But it's very commendable to go back and do that.
Yeah. And I just remember feeling like really compelled to do that and just be like, I was really shitty to you. And I don't think that you deserve that. But I was too afraid to be truthful to people at that point. And I had kind of like my safety bubble living so far away from home where I could have that freedom to explore who I am without any repercussions from friends back home or family back home, and just really kind of be selfish in that. But that selfishness really definitely was not kind to other people. So that's like the tricky part about like any type of identity journey or self-discovery journey. Like afterwards you kind of go, I was like real selfish and did not think about anybody at that moment. But I also don't think I could have.
Well, it just kind of goes back to like, you don't know what you don't know, right? And then
Yeah.
when you know, you do better. And a lot of times, especially when we're in that young adult stage or that, like older teen, young adult stage, most of the time one of our major goals is to please our support system, right? And whether that be your family, your peers, whatever that may be, that's typically like one of our most important goals, to continue to please our support system because we want them to be our support system. And a lot of that comes from being kind of scared to lose your support system if you don't do what they like, right? Like if I don't continue to do what they like and what caters to them and their feelings, then I might lose them. So I have to continue being who they want me to be. And that's, we know now, working in this field, that that's not how it should be. You shouldn't have to change who you are so your support system supports you. If they really are your support system, they are there to support you, working through your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, like, yeah, in theory, I knew whoever I was, my family would support me. My sister was like my go-to person when I first started dating. Like when I was a teenager, I called my sister first. I said, I don't know how to tell mom. And she goes, I'll help you. I'll tell her, right? When I went through a very horrible breakup before I met my now wife, my last relationship, the first person I called when I was able to call somebody was my sister. Right. So like I knew it would all be fine, but you also have this like deep rooted fear because of what you hear people talk about when it comes to especially something like sexuality or gender identity.
Absolutely.
Right? Because I don't expect the average cis het person to understand my experience.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yet, because people can't understand my experience is somehow not valid.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And it's such a weird thing. So it's like, I don't understand your experience with liking the opposite gender. I think
Right.
it's kind of weird and gross. I see a man and a woman together and I'm like, how does that work? You, what is happening there?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
may be silly to some people, but it's like such a good like thought experimentation to be like, well, what if everybody else around you was gay and you were the only straight person? Like, what would you
Right.
do?
Right. This is something that I talk about in parenting a lot, or
Mhm.
just in relationships in general, but look from the perspective of the other person, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you do that, you discover things that you wouldn't have thought about before. I
Mhm.
wouldn't have had this thought process before if I didn't look through their point of view.
Mhm.
Looking through their perspective gives me this whole different outlook on the
Mhm.
situation. So it's really important, when you are trying to understand the other person, or
Mhm.
sometimes even if you're trying to understand how they perceive you. Well,
Yeah.
why do we argue so much? Why can we not just get along? Okay, let me look at this situation from their point
Mhm.
of view and maybe figure
Mhm.
out what they're struggling with in the situation,
Yeah.
because it could be
Yeah.
something that I would have never thought about because it's not my issue.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. And I remember seeing this video and I think it was before I came out, but I remember seeing this video um where they did the role reversal where everybody around you is gay and you're the only straight person and what that experience would be like in the hopes for people to like
Yeah.
understand that this is not something that we just choose. I tried so hard not to choose it.
Right. And but that's big too. That's I heard someone say, and I'm not going to put them out on blast, but I heard someone say, I if I had to choose whether I had a gay child or not, I would choose no, because, and their response was not because of anything to do with that child actually being gay, but
Mhm.
their concern was, because if my child is gay, they're going to have a harder life.
Mhm. Yeah.
And when I first heard them say that, when they made their first choice, I was like, I was about to
Yeah.
judge them. But not to say that I would make the same choice, because
Mhm.
obviously I wouldn't. But I can look through their perspective and
Mhm.
say, oh, but I get why you'd say that. As a
Mhm.
straight person, I
Mhm.
get why you'd say that, because you look at other people's situations and you see the difficulties they go to just because of who they're dating, that
Yeah.
straight people don't have to go through.
Mhm.
And I can see how that other perspective would be like, that looks difficult. And I
Mhm.
don't want my child to have to suffer through that. So,
Yeah.
like kind of twofold in the sense of like, well, I was about to judge them, but then I listened
Mhm.
to what they had to say and I was like, oh, I get that from your perspective.
Mhm. Yeah.
It makes
Yeah.
a choice. I want them to be what makes them happy, but I do understand. But
Yeah.
looking in from the outside, it,
Mhm.
yeah, does look
Yeah.
like people have harder lives just for that.
Yeah. And I mean, if you think about the like the representation that we actually have of queer folk, in order to find just like queer people being people, living life, enjoying their life, you have to look for something so specific. Instead, often the content that you see around queerness are these challenges, family not accepting you, people wanting to attack you, losing people that you care about, being ostracized, all of these like really negative things. And that is always a possibility. I work with queer folk. I used to work with LGBTQ plus refugees. And so I saw it in a very meaningful way, the fear that can be associated, the violence that can be associated with just being who you are. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not all of it. It's not all
right.
sad queer stories. Like, where is the queer love, the normal life that we live?
Yeah.
I tell so many people, and I tell this to my mom because my parents are in North Carolina, my sister's in North Carolina, and I say like one of the things that I don't tell people when I'm in North Carolina really that I'm a lesbian. When I tried on wedding dresses in North Carolina, I didn't say anything about me being engaged to a woman. I just kind of let the person helping me say whatever they want to say because I wanted to get a feel first.
That's fair, yeah.
But there's also this moment where I'm like, well, now that you've gotten to know me, this person I've never met before has gotten to know me. We're talking about like wedding planning, why I moved abroad, all these things. You know a lot about me. You see me as a normal person. And then I mentioned that we're also just like people.
Well, and then for some people too, it becomes your whole personality to them, right? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. There's
all
some.
these other things before I told you that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, then you're the gay. And it's like, well, no, I'm also so much more. And that's like something that I say to a lot of my clients too, and especially my younger people that I work with who are exploring their sexuality, exploring their gender, right? Trying to make sense of who they are. And they're like, this feels like the biggest part of me. Is this all I'm going to be? And I'm like, me being gay is only a part of who I am. And I don't even think it's the most interesting part of who I am.
Right. Yeah.
All right. And then at the same time, being like so acutely aware that I have the luxury of being that representation for people that don't have it.
Yeah.
So that responsibility of owning that identity and sharing it and being proud of it and also making it known that that's not the most important thing about me is such a delicate dance.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's, things have changed in a good way, right? There is a lot more representation. But things haven't completely changed. There's still things that remain the same. And some of that, like I go to this popular like juice place and I first of all, I thought this woman initially was a lesbian. She just has like the short haircut and
there's just like something lesbian about her.
Well, she starts talking about her husband, and I was like, "Oh shit! Well, I completely read you wrong." I came in and I had it's like a Christian juice place, and I came in and I had this pride shirt on. The woman who I thought, just by judging by her looks, was a lesbian, could not take her eyes off my shirt, and she was always like super nice to me when we were in there, super chat, and she like barely said anything to me. That day, and like she was standing right in front of me. There was someone else, the other person, she just kind of like looked and just like stuck.
Yeah.
And like I said something to her and she was like, yeah, but the other person was just talking like normal, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? And then like there's a gym next door, so I'll go to the gym. Like I'll see her, and I've seen her a couple times, and like she like doesn't say anything. And I saw her, and I finally like got eye contact, and I waved, and she was just kind of like, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, first of all, do I have to point out the fact to you, like, hey, I'm married to a man, so, like, you don't have to judge me so harshly, or like, like,
yeah.
But I did kind of the same thing. I judged her by her appearance and thought that she was a lesbian, and now she's judging me by my shirt.
Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of like, okay, we're wrong in that instant, but it's like it's a fucking t-shirt.
Yeah, but the difference is how you react to when you know that the judgment is wrong, right? So
right.
I always tell people it's not the first thought that matters as much as the second thought.
Yeah.
Your first thought can be judgmental, but if your second thought is like, who cares? That second thought says so much more about who you are than the first one. The first one is normally given to you through family, through upbringing, through culture, through religion, through friends or school. Yeah. And the second thought is more aligned with who you are. And like, what is like the most natural thing for people to do? Like we like scope out who is like us. Yeah. I would be lying if I say I don't look at some people and go, that's a lesbian. Do I know? Absolutely not. But then I'm going to, in my heart, believe you're gay until you tell me otherwise. And honestly, I started telling people that. I'm like, everybody keeps looking at me and assuming I'm straight. And so when I say I'm married, they're like, oh, he's a lucky man. I'm like,
right.
I'm sure she'd appreciate that. If you're calling her a man, she'd love to get paid like a man. I know that
No
much.
shit.
Like, and it's always, oh, I had no idea you'd be gay. And it's like, all right, I'm going to assume everybody's gay unless you tell me you're straight at this point. Like, do we want to flip the script here a little bit?
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And a part of it's so natural. That's what our human brains are designed to do.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, it's all based on how we were raised too. It's like such this like juxtaposition between the two, it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Because on the one hand, we're in a safer world. And on the other hand, I still have to look up if I'm safe to travel to certain countries.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
on the one hand, my family loves my wife. My 90-year-old grandmother cannot wait to meet my wife. With our wedding invite, called and was like, your grandfather would have loved this. I wish I could be there. I'm just too old to travel. Please, you girls, come and visit me. So like on the one hand, I have this like beautiful connection with the States and with my family there. And on the other hand, my wife and I have to think, is it worth the risk of you possibly being turned around, detained, rejected, or we become a victim of violence just because we are a lesbian, interracial, intercultural, international couple?
Right. Yeah.
We got a lot of minority cards kind of swinging on us.
Right.
And it's a hard thing for people to understand. I know my mom like gets so mad when I bring this up. And not because she doesn't believe me, but I think it's because there's like this desire not to believe that that's true.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm listening. My husband came in and let the dog in. Trying to get him
no
out.
problem. No, it's no problem.
He like, it's fine. Leave him, I guess. He like sat right here and he's not moving.
Like a good boy. What kind of dog is he?
He's a pit lab retriever mix.
That's so sweet.
Sweetest thing ever. He's so sweet.
I would love a pitty. I think they're such sweet dogs.
They are. And he like, if somebody comes to the door, he's gonna bark. You know, like he's gonna let us know. But he does not like little dogs. Now, like he damn near killed one of my husband's coworkers' dogs. Like picked it up and shook it around.
Oh my God.
Horrible. So he got banned from my husband's job. But
fair enough.
you know, and I think it's a small price to pay for, almost committing murder.
Yeah.
But, so he, but there were people jogging past my house the other day, and he goes and he's just like trotting along beside one of the ladies. I was like, oh my gosh, get back here.
Yeah.
So people, unless I would imagine if you try to hurt me or the baby or something, or like one of the kids is probably going to go after you. But I mean, he looks like Scooby-Doo. He's got a red collar on. He's sitting here, Scooby-Doo, just like back turned from me, looking around at everything else.
Oh yeah, the protection
I'm
mode.
here.
Yeah, that's what my dog used to do, except he was about this big and weighed like 20 pounds or less.
I have a dog. He's maybe, I don't know, between like 10 and 15. He's pretty small. Not like teacup size, but he's pretty small. And he is like that, small and mighty. He will bark your head off. Like
so well, she's kind of KO'd right now, but our dog Lucha, she's a dachshund.
Oh.
She's a big dachshund. She's not like one of those mini ones that we always have back home. She's like a full-grown, traditional, like German dachshund. And she will lose her shit if she hears anybody near the door.
Yes. Yes.
You're moving. If I go to the bathroom sometimes, I have to leave the toilet door open and all the doors open so she knows I'm not leaving. Otherwise, she won't stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she only wants to attack big dogs. And I'm like, this is so embarrassing. You're like this much off the ground. What do you think you're doing? My dog, before he passed, he would attack anything that, if you looked at me funny, if a bag flitted in the breeze and maybe touched my leg, he will try to attack it. The wind hitting us, he would attack.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Anything and everything. A little statue of an animal attacks. Like I've seen him bite stone. I'm like, brother, That's rock. I don't know what to tell you.
Right. You might not
Yeah.
want to do that
Yeah.
if you enjoy having teeth.
Exactly. I think small dogs are way more violent than big dogs
Yes.
most of the time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because my little dog, if someone knocks on the door, actually, if someone pulls their car into the driveway, he's not shutting up until they come in the house. And it doesn't matter whether they live here or not. If you live here, you come in and you speak to him, or he will not shut up.
Yeah.
Like, at least the big dog, he's like, he'll hear somebody, they come in and he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the little one, sometimes, I'm like,
you need to like address
you live
him
here.
directly. Yeah, you have to address him directly. I have to hold my dog like a baby. Like literally, like how you hold the little babe. That's how I have to hold her. And she rests her head on my shoulder, just like he did with you earlier. And if you try to take her away from me, she'll latch on to me. It's
That's
the most ridiculous thing. I mean, there have been times where I'm working from home and she's just like having a bad time. She will not stop barking. She's running into my office, howling at me. And I'm like, sorry,
right.
just ignore the dog. I know I'm holding her like a baby, but she really believes she's a baby. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, yeah. That's how my little dog, I'll hold her just like I'm holding this baby now. We'll just sit around and hold him like that. He's old as shit. He's like between 10 and 12 years old. He's old.
Yeah.
He will still run. Like, we keep him in a pen. Like, it's pretty big. There's
Mhm.
a lot of room for him to, move around. But he's old. So unless he's outside or running around, he really like lays in one spot all day.
Yeah.
Get up, walk in a circle, and then sit right back down.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what our dog does too. She'll get up, slowly walk to the door, to the water bowl, look at you, and then walk right back. If you get too close to her on the couch, she'll get up, take it off, walk away, jump to the other side of the couch.
Oh, that's a small dog thing, because I feel like he would do that too. Yeah.
Such an
Or
attitude.
like they'll lay on you for a little bit. When they're done, they'll get up and be like, "You aren't giving me space, and I'm gonna move now." Like, you've been laying on me. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah. And she'll at you.
Uh-huh.
And she'll headbutt you too. And I'm like, what is she's also 12. Why are you acting like
Right. You should be old and like calming down at this point, but no.
right? You're like supposed to be like 84, basically. Like, why do you have this energy? Yeah. I'm very impressed she's been so quiet. Normally, when I'm sitting here doing something like this, she'll start freaking out. Is she
Really?
good? I think she
You said she did?
Like, is she okay? She did have to take painkillers today, so I'm like, hello. You good?
Are you good?
God, imagine my wife would kill me. She's on a business trip. She'd come home and be like, what the fuck?
I'm never leaving you alone with the dog
I'm
again.
trustworthy. No, she's just probably KO'd, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. So now that we've had our dog segment, because I'm leaving this in because it's hilarious. But you know what's funny? So I can make these jokes. I have a friend and I'm like, she's in a relationship with a woman now. And I'm like, fuck yeah, now I can make jokes. And you, like, I'm not being like homophobic because you're dating a woman. So I can make these jokes and we're friends. So it's fine. But, at least you guys aren't like old cat lesbians, because that's
No, I mean, we're definitely homebodies, but in my defense, I talk to people and listen for a living. So, like, by the end of the week, I'm like, do I really want to go out and like have people trauma dump on me because they
right,
figure out what I do?
right.
No, let's just like play some video games, hang out with our dog, have a drink, go
Yeah.
for a walk. We'll invite people over, but like leave the house? Mm-mm. We bought this house. We don't have the money to leave. What do you mean?
Seriously.
We bought our house and paid for a wedding. We can't go anywhere.
You don't get to leave now.
No, you all have to come here.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm like, I guess he's holding my hair. I went to move it and I was like, that's kind of heavy.
Yeah, my niece holds on to my sister's hair with a death grip and just rubs her face with
Yeah, it's like, oh, it fell
it.
out.
I always let go.
Usually when I just like naturally when I'm holding babies, I usually have my hair up.
Yeah.
Or like today I've got the trifecta. I've got a necklace, long earrings, and my hair down. So I'm like really taking risks here.
Yeah, you're lucky he seems to be like KO'd or something in your arms. Otherwise, yeah, you'd be like bleeding out of one ear,
Right.
on one side of your head.
Give him, he's just learning how to like hold things.
Yeah.
So give it time.
Yeah.
None of this is going to be here in a few months.
Oh, no, you can't do that at all.
Every episode I record will be hair up, no earrings, or maybe like these little, studs or something. But
yeah, absolutely.
This doesn't last long.
Yeah, my sister would be like, put your hair back. Like, be careful. I have a dermal in my wrist, and the kids love to try to yank it out of my arm. And I'm like, can we please? I'll let you color in my tattoos if you don't touch this other arm. Please. I'll let you rip a piece of my hair out if you want to. Just leave my arm alone. What's the? I put Band-Aids on it sometimes when I'm around kids. I'm like, I'm just gonna cover it with a Band-Aid.
Right. I went to get one right here, and she did it. First of all, she wanted to do it with the ring, and I was like, well, I want the bar. That makes sense to me, right? She wanted to do it with a ring. She said no, it would heal better. But then on two, I'm like, I've had a piercing here, like I have all kind of piercings. I know how things heal. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like that doesn't make any sense.
And you pierce it straight, it's going to be straight, and you go to put a ring in it and it's different, or vice versa, right? You pierce it with a ring and the holes are going to be different. So when I want to go change the barbell, put a barbell, it's not going to be straight across. Like, what are you doing? She's the piercer, know what she's doing, right? Mm-hmm. That shit, I had it in for like 2 days. I convinced her to do the bar, which maybe now in retrospect, I'm like, maybe I should have done the ring because this happened. So I have it, it's like right here. And I think I still have the little like scars, but it's so like a little bar. Mm-hmm. And so while she's doing it though, I like tap out. I have all kinds of tattoos, I have like lower region piercings, like shit doesn't bother me, right? I tapped out on this shit. But she was like shoving. Horrible. And I'm like, what the? So maybe I should have just done a dermal. I feel like that would have been, or 2 dermals. Like, I don't know. Anything would have been better than this. So now I have nothing. And I still want one. I'm still going to, so maybe I'm going to do a dermal.
Mm-hmm. Some people's bodies do reject them. I was warned of that. I got mine done with a friend, like our first December living here. Mm-hmm. And hers rejected, I want to say like only 2 years ago, like 1 or 2 years ago.
Really?
Mine never has. And when the piercer told me, this was before I was diagnosed and medicated for my ADHD. So hindsight is 2020. I have impulsive and hyperactive ADHD. So everyone else got a piercing. I was like, I want one too, but I don't want to do like an ear piercing. So I don't know. And my friend was like, well, I'm doing a dermal. You should do one. I'm like, okay. Never thought of it before. I'm like, yeah, let's just do it. And he goes, well, it can reject. I'm like, all right. And now, like 10 years later, I'm like, reject. And it won't, because I'm too afraid to get it removed. I got too freaked out by it. And it's only like when it gets snagged on things, am I like, get this out of me.
Because I feel like that's a place that like would get snagged a lot.
Again, impulsive, not a smart move. And every time I felt really brave a few years ago, and I went to this tattoo place where I knew that they had like supposedly one of the best piercers. And I go in and I'm like, I want to get this removed. He goes, well, how long have you had it? I said, I don't know, 6 years or so. And he was like, no, I'm not going to do it. You can go to another place if you want it done. Oh, I'm like, but why? He was like, I'm just not going to. You've had it for a long time. You should really think about it. I'm like, do you think that I'm just like sporadically coming in and saying remove it?
Right.
And I was like, there goes my bravery for this. So I told my wife, I'm like, if anything happens to me and I got to be put under for surgery, tell them to remove my dermal too.
Right.
Like, that's extreme, but
please make this happen.
Like, I'll keep that in mind then. Let's hope there's no accidents.
No, I've seen like lower back dimple dermals, and I think they're the cutest things ever. I love them.
Oh yeah. I love the look of it. I love the look of my dermal, and my friend who had it in her chest, it looked so good. But like they are kind of a pain in the ass at times.
Right. Yeah. I
They
think
can't.
that's why I didn't initially go with the dermal, because she was talking about how it could reject. And I was
Mhm.
like, okay, well, I have tons of things pierced this way. So I know like this will be fun. Let's just do this instead, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. She tried to kill me, and then I tried to get into it again. I was like,
Yeah, I don't blame you. That would have freaked me out so much too. I'd be like, nope, not meant to be. This is a sign.
right. Now I know if I go to the piercer here, because the piercer here has done multiple piercings for
Mhm.
my teenagers and
Mhm.
my young adults. So I'd probably feel comfortable doing it here.
Yeah.
But I don't know about anywhere else. Cause like I've seen her work, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I feel like as you get older, you realize how important finding somebody who's good at what they do, who knows what they're doing,
yes.
who's done good work is like so much more important as you get older. Whereas like my first tattoo, I got it done in like that place probably doesn't exist anymore. Like, why was I going into that shop? I was like, I'd love to get a tattoo here, and I did it. And I'm like, again, how were these not signs that I needed to be medicated? No thoughts, just vibes at that point.
I can't tell you how many tattoos I've gotten just like on impulse, but they all like make sense. I'd say this one is probably the only one that's like impulsive, that's random, but I'm a Taurus and my animal is a bull. And
I'm a Taurus too. Are you an April or May Taurus?
May 5th.
Okay. I'm an April Taurus.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't know what that means. I just have one of my clients. He's like, the April Tauruses are superior to the May Taurus. And I'm like,
Oh,
whatever
shit.
that means. I don't know.
I don't really know much about any of it. I just know that Taurus is bull.
Yeah,
And that we are stubborn, and that is very accurate. So,
absolutely. Stubborn and a little bit bougie in things.
yes,
I
yes.
have bougie taste without the bougie money.
Same, same.
It's a very difficult life to live.
Yes, yes. But unfortunately, I have another meeting to get to, so I'm gonna have to wrap up. But I want to. We still did the ADHD thing and
Yeah.
did not.
Next time I have to make sure I took my medication before I meet you.
I'm unmedicated, so like I don't have an excuse. I guess that is my excuse, right?
Yeah, that is your excuse. I technically took my meds today, so I don't have one.
But the thing that I wanted to get at, I wanted to talk about your experience, and I wanted to kind of, if we can just spend like the next 3 minutes just kind of wrapping up.
Yeah, of course.
But these life experiences are what led you to the profession that you are in now, and the group of people that you prefer to cater to. And because you have not only the education, but you have lived experience. And it's one thing that makes it really important. It's one thing that's really important when it comes to catering to other people's mental health, is that you have the life experience for what you are trying to guide them through, right? So tell us, just kind of briefly, maybe like spend a couple minutes promoting yourself. Tell us where we can find you, what it is you do. I mentioned it in the first episode, but just kind of tell us about you professionally.
Yeah, of course. So I have my American master's in counseling psychology and a Dutch master's in clinical psychology. Hopefully a PhD soon. I'm manifesting that for 2026 to start one. We'll see. But I opened up my own private practice in the Netherlands in 2019. I think it was 2019. Yeah. So I work privately with individuals and sometimes couples. I also have been asked to lead some support groups for especially like queer folk or queer parents in the Netherlands. So I help mediate a support group. I work primarily with schema therapy and somatic work because I'm also a somatic practitioner. So I connect mind and body a lot for people with a primary focus on trauma, especially more like complex childhood trauma. Very, very intense. It can be very intense.
But it's very necessary too for most people, I would say.
Yeah. So a lot of my work is really just relational based. So I focus primarily on like our relationship as therapist and client in order to kind of help people heal. Because a lot of the issues we have stem from relationships. And in the schema theory, a lot of our unwellness stems from childhood upbringing. So I help people kind of make sense and untangle that. Even though I work primarily with the LGBTQ plus community, they're not the only people I work with. I do have two straight male clients, not many, but I do have some. So I'm not like totally rigid with who I work with. It just so happens that most of my clients happen to be a part of the community. It's how I branded myself.
Right.
So I work online, in person, in The Hague, in the Netherlands. I also write on my blog, therapywitholivia.com. I have a blog that I write everything for. And we have an Instagram account, therapywitholivia_NL, because I got us trapped outside of our old Instagram account. I should not be in charge of passwords, but I'm the boss, so I have to.
Right. That's a fun little ADHD component too.
Right. Where it's like, and I have a business partner who is like, I need to be able to get in because I'll take care of the social media account. And I'm like, I can't get in anymore. So I had to remake it. But there we do like little posts about mental health, some quick tips, things of that nature. And hopefully in 2026, we have some new things happening, coming out, maybe some more content, maybe some things that are just me privately doing things, but we'll see.
All right. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here again today. And
thank you.
I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yes. Thank you so much. It's so nice to see you again.
Same. You too. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for spending this time with us on Just the Who of Us. We hope today's conversation offered reflection, comfort, or a moment of clarity. If this episode resonated with you, feel free to share it with someone who may need it. Until next time, take care of yourself and remember, you're not alone in the journey.